Vice President nominee Tim Walz's recent public appearances have been downright bizarre. Whilst Kamala Harris struggles with word salads, stumbles and mumbles, Tim Walz is putting on an over-the-top performance, flailing his arms and kicking his legs whenever he's on stage. These strange public performances have even the most die-hard Democrats turning their back on the VP pick in the lead-up to the November election. Sky News All-Stars Rita Panahi, James McPherson and Caleb Bond take a deep dive into the weird life of Tim Walz. There's no denying that Tim Walz is weird, but Kamala Harris's VP pick seems to be getting stranger by the day. Both Tim Walz and Donald Trump attended college football games over the weekend, and the contrast couldn't be more stark. Trump was welcomed by a roaring crowd in Alabama, whereas Walz was heckled in Michigan.
Oh yeah! Trump 2024, baby!
As well as getting heckled, commentator Charlie Kirk revealed that the VP nominee appeared to rudely gesture to the heckler. He said, Tim Walz gets heckled by students at the Michigan game and then appears to flip off the students, really showing his ex-teacher vice presidential maturity getting rattled by some college kids. Weak. Walz was again heckled outside of the stadium. And the backlash against Walz may be in part due to his questionable meeting with Alex Soros in his luxury New York City apartment, reveals Sky News All-Star Kosha Garda.
And her running mate Tim Walz has copped criticism after having a meeting with Alex Soros, the son of George Soros, in his luxury NYC apartment. This comes after revelations that Soros-backed organisations have ramped up their attempts to mobilise illegal immigrants to get them to act as voting blocs in swing states. Kosha, tell me about the influence of George Soros, his organisations, on US elections. It's not just the presidential race that they have an interest in.
Yes, George Soros and his Open Societies Foundation, which is the main vehicle that he uses to fund various activism and initiatives, its influence on US elections cannot be overstated. So it's a couple of tranches. One is partnering with these NGOs to fast track immigrants basically coming in through the asylum system or other systems and fast tracking their naturalization process. They've done something like 250,000 people have been naturalized into US citizens just in the last 12 months, and they've got a stated goal of doing that for millions. And also coupled with resettling them into red counties and red states, which is no coincidence because that kind of thing can sway and does sway elections that are won and lost now on razor thin margins in the US. The other thing to your point is he does fund local elections, and specifically DAs that are elected positions. They're famous ones in San Francisco and LA. We're all sort of handpicked by Soros, and they are ideologically very aligned in terms of decriminalizing certain behavior and doing other things that in part has led to the decline and decay of cities like that. That's something as well that he's very methodically, his organization is very methodically executing, and his son seems to be carrying that mantle because George Soros is very, very old, but his son seems to be carrying that mantle and will probably be continuing some of these tactics well into the future.
Tim Walz also shot himself in the foot after he campaigned for Trump during a public speech, reveals Sky News All-Star Rita Panahi.
Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, who today was telling Americans that they cannot have 4 more years of this craziness.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
Oh, he's right. No one could afford 4 more years of the Democrats.
And in addition to bizarre speeches, Tim Walz's body movements are being put under the spotlight. earth is Tim Walz taking that makes him act like such a weirdo? This is strange behaviour. And this commentator doubled down, saying, why does Tim Walz kick when he's on stage? And in another bizarre video, Tim Walz says his strategy to win over voters is to harass them at the supermarket, reveals Sky News All-Star Kayla Bond.
And speaking of Tim Walz, he was at a rally on the weekend and, well, he's got a great way. He's worked out how they're going to win the election by harassing people at the supermarket.
This thing's going to be a battle for the next 52 days. It's going to be in rooms, one in rooms, just like this. It's going to be one door-to-door, call-to-call, $5 donation, trying to have that hard conversation in the produce aisle with the person you saw there at the grocery store and ask, have you voted yet?
Look, I don't know. I might be an outlier, but if I am at the supermarket on a Saturday doing my shopping and someone comes up to me and goes, have you voted yet? Are you going to vote for Kamala Harris? I'm going to walk out there and go, vote for Donald Trump. Like, there is nothing that would turn me off more than being told in the supermarket when I'm just going about my business, have you voted yet?
And it's not only Tim Walz displaying weird behaviour. His wife is even stranger, reveals Sky News All-Star James McPherson.
There's only one thing worse than being accosted by Tim Walz at the supermarket, and that's being accosted by his wife, Gwen. You think Kamala Harris is weird? Take a look at the vice president's or the potential vice president's wife. She is off the Richter scale.
Okay, so I need you to be with me and practice with me. What are we going to do? We're going to turn the page. Oh, pretty good. Do it again. We're going to turn the page. And we're going to turn the page. All right, so I'm going to be watching you because when I see Wisconsin, and I'm watching nationally on TV because this is a pretty important place, and Minnesota helped you practice with this, you just show me this. Turn the page, right? Turn the page. And you know what else that looks like? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Donald Trump. We are turning the page. 52 days and we are turning the page. 52 days and it is bye-bye, Donald Trump.
I just love watching Tim Walz in the background. He's looking at his wife like, when I married you, I had no idea I'd be running for VP, and if I had known, maybe I would have chosen different.
And it seems like the Walz's strange behaviour is even putting their nearest and dearest offside, with their own family endorsing Trump, reveals Sky News host James McPherson.
Now, meanwhile, Harris's running mate Tim Walz, he's nursing a bruised ego after some of his relatives from Nebraska openly declared their support for Donald Trump. They've even posted a family photo wearing Trump shirts. Now, Charles Herbster posted the image of 8 family members, distant supposedly to the Minnesota governor, wearing matching tops which say Nebraska Walz's family for Trump. Adam, it's going to be an awkward Christmas if the Democrats lose, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. That is very embarrassing. Indeed, the photo was so embarrassing, people thought that it might have been fake, but it is apparently real. You know, what's funny about that is most of the media over here is all over the nieces and nephews of Donald Trump, who of course hate him. They're always saying that. But so far they haven't been all over this photo, so they should be. And actually, it's worth pointing out, it's not just the Walzes, it's also Barack Obama's his older half-brother has also been tweeting that he'll be supporting Trump. So.
And in another blow to Tim Walz, even the rusted-on Democrats of CNN can't ignore his weirdness.
He's a buffoon. He's on a free ride for running under Harris. He gets very little press. They don't let him talk to the press for a reason. I want one thing out of this debate. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and get under his skin. He has legendary hot, short temper. A lot of governors do, but apparently he does. I want J.D. Vance to go out there and have him explain why he is denigrating J.D. Vance's story. Small town America ends up making something better out of his life, which is something we should want for every kid.